We often think about literature, as this quiet thing, just someone writing, someone reading.
Hmm. Very solitary.
Right. But what if it's more, like a real force for community development, for keeping cultures alive?
Yeah. Giving a voice to people maybe we don't hear from often.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into this amazing example of that actually happening in a very specific place.
That's right. We're looking at the second Raksarang Art and Literature Festival. This happened in Raksarang, Chainpur, which is in western Mukwampur in Nepal.
Okay.
And our source for this deep dive is an excerpt that really details this event and, well, its impact.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. Our mission here is to pull out the key insights, get a handle on what they were really trying to achieve, and figure out the actual impact it had, especially for the Chepang community there.
They're an indigenous group in Nepal facing some unique challenges.
Right. So let's jump in. First off, help set the scene for us. The second Raksarang Art and Literature Festival, what was it exactly?
Well, it was quite something. It was organized by the local government body, the Raksarang Rural Municipality, and they worked with communication industry.
Okay.
And the core idea, the real heart of it, was to bring together writers and literary folks from Nepal, but also from India.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, for discussions, poetry readings, that sort of thing. But specifically focused on the Chepang community, their language, their culture, their traditions.
And what strikes me right away is just how many people came and from where.
Yeah.
You said Nepal and India?
Absolutely. It wasn't just, people from the immediate area. You had figures travel from Kathmandu, from Sintuli, Mukwampur, other parts of Nepal.
Wow.
And yeah, creators even made the trip from Sikkim in India.
That's quite a gathering. It really shows something, doesn't it, to get such a diverse group together in, well, a fairly rural part of Nepal for this specific cause.
It really does. And amongst all those people, there were some key voices, some prominent figures whose insights really tell us a lot about what made this festival special.
Okay, like who?
Well, for instance, Dr. Nabaraj Lamsal. He's a big deal in Nepali literature. He won the Madan Puraskar Award.
Right, that's like their top literary prize, isn't it?
Exactly. And he apparently recited some really powerful, timeless songs and pieces about, everyday people's lives, the ups and downs. But what's really crucial from him is his belief that this festival does something important. He thinks it helps put Raksarang, the place itself, and the Chepang community's issues onto the national stage.
Kind of puts them on the map.
Yeah, exactly. Puts them on the map. And he also stressed how it helps nurture local talent and how literature itself is a tool for preserving the Chepang language, their civilization, their heritage.
Makes sense. Using stories to keep traditions alive.
Right. Then there was Fulman Bao. He's a poet and also sits on the board for PSB, that's the public broadcaster, Nepal Television and Radio Nepal.
Okay, another significant voice.
Definitely. And he pointed out something interesting about Raksarang's geography, the fact that it has this Chepang majority. He believes that unique characteristic actually enriches Nepal's national literature.
So the place itself contributes.
Yeah. And for him, getting the community itself more involved in literature, raising that awareness. Well, it's not just about art. He sees it as a source of national pride and fundamentally essential for protecting the Chepang civilization long term.
So pride, protection, contribution. It's hitting a lot of notes.
That really is. And one more key person was Moharai Sharma, another poet and journalist. He spoke about how impressed he was just by the Raksarang community itself. And he used this metaphor. He sees literature as adding a crucial brick to the development of this remote area.
A building block.
Precisely. Like, literature isn't just floating out there. It's actively helping build things like social cohesion, identity, which you need for real progress, especially when things are changing around you.
Wow. It's quite powerful when you hear these different people from different angles all saying similar things, that this festival wasn't just about, appreciating poems. It was about real-world impact.
Absolutely. What's fascinating is how they all converge on this idea. Literature as an active tool, a tool for social change, for cultural upliftment, not just passive entertainment.
Okay, so if literature is this powerful tool, as they're saying, what does that actually look like on the ground? How does it connect to, practical development for the Chepang community?
Right, that's the key question. How does it translate? Well, we heard from Kumari Lama, a writer, and Jaikant Chepang, who actually heads the Raksarang Development Organization.
Okay, so people involved in development work, too.
Exactly. And they both really highlighted the role of the local government, of the Raksarang Rural Municipality. They stressed how the municipality is actively trying to weave together the Chepang civilization and the area's overall development through these literary initiatives.
So it's a conscious strategy.
Seems like it. And then you had Banastim Thing, who's the vice chairperson of the rural municipality.
Right.
He was even more specific. He argued for actively integrating the Chepang community's unique culture with things like tourism potential and their literary potential.
Interesting mix.
Yeah, and he really pushed the idea that events like this are vital for raising issues that affect these remote, often difficult-to-reach areas,
Yeah.
making sure their concerns are heard higher up.
Got it. And did it work? Did it actually bring attention?
Well, according to Pradeep Balachan, he's a former provincial assembly member, also involved in literature, yes.
Yeah.
He basically confirmed that this whole literary campaign in Western Makwanpur has successfully drawn more attention to the specific challenges Raksarang and its marginalized community face.
That's really something. It shows you, I guess, that art isn't just fluff. It can be part of local government strategy, part of real development planning.
Absolutely.